Hey, does NASA have a plan in place for what to do if the United States ever discovers evidence of alien life somewhere out there? Well, one scientist with the agency says yes. During a recent event in New York City, Michelle Fowler, Assistant Director for Science Communication at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center, said that the agency has had talks about what happens if the James Webb Space Telescope finds evidence of extraterrestrial life. And new this morning, exclusive NewsNation polling finds that a majority of Americans think that UFOs are linked to intelligent alien life, with 18% saying it's very likely the two are in fact related. Here to weigh in is theoretical physicist Avi Loeb, director of the Institute for Theory and Computation at Harvard Center for Astrophysics. Professor, thanks for being with us. Once again, good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
So are you surprised that NASA is having these kinds of conversations? And what do you think the plan in place is if they do, in fact, find evidence of alien UFO life out there?
Well, I'm glad to hear that they are open to that possibility. Unfortunately, they have not pursued it very diligently. There aren't many funds allocated to the search for technological signatures. It's a small budget that is allocated for that. Most of the attention is given to searching for microbes, either on Mars or signatures in the atmospheres of distant planets. And that's what the statement refers to. It would be much more interesting to actually check if there are any packages in our backyard, any objects that arrive there, which is pretty much what I'm pursuing in recent years.
And you and I, Professor, we've been talking on this show for the last 3 months about this story, but I don't think I've asked you this question. I thought of it this morning. For most of us outsiders, when we hear alien life, we do think of those little green men that have been depicted in cartoons, movies. But for you, sir, when you hear alien, what's the vision that comes to mind of what you think that truly might be and might look like?
Well, I'm trying to be practical. They may be green out there, but what would visit us, the encounter, will likely be with technological gadgets, because the trip takes very long, millions to billions of years. And biology was not designed to survive that long in the harsh conditions of space. And so what I expect is some gadget. Now, it could be space trash, the way that our probes would appear in millions or billions of years. They will not be functional anymore. And you will see an object burning up in the atmosphere that happened to be some spacecraft that is not working anymore. The second possibility is that it's still working with some artificial intelligence. It has a brain, which is technological. And that would be, of course, quite amazing to find, because we could get inspired. We could import these technologies. We could go to space ourselves by figuring out how they do it. And so that's what I'm hoping to encounter. But you see, when we imagine things, it's based on our experience. I don't think it's a good practice to prepare for a date by looking at the mirror.
Yeah, well, it would be amazing, and they could be green. You heard it here. And one last question for you, sir. We did take a poll. According to the most recent NewsNation poll, a majority of Americans, 53%, believe that intelligent life does exist on other planets. Do you think that NASA's apparent willingness to be open about these conversations about the potential for extraterrestrial life is because the majority of Americans now believe it? And did you ever expect this day to come?
Yeah, I do believe that we should attend to the public's interest, because the public funds NASA, funds science. And it's irresponsible of the scientific community to dismiss it altogether, given that the U.S. military and intelligence agencies are talking about it. There was a hearing in the House of Representatives about it. And moreover, we just went to the Pacific Ocean and found the molten droplets from the surface of an object that came from outside the solar system. Yeah. So altogether, I think it's very exciting times. I didn't expect it, but I welcome it very much.
Yeah, and it's only going to get more interesting from here, I feel. Professor, thanks for joining us once again.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.